Alright, good evening everyone and welcome to the Week 5 Fantasy Football Recap. Another late night entering this in again. Tomorrow I actually have a little day off. Gonna do a little apple picking with the missus, among other things, so lucky I've got some good stuff to go along with me. Make the time pass just a little bit quicker. So before we get into a little recap, I want to touch on a couple things. Notre Dame had a big win, obviously, in that crazy college football weekend this past weekend. A lot of the top 10 teams went down. In addition to that, obviously, Patriots finally came out with what looked to be fire under their ass for the first time this year. A lot of it obviously had to do with Brady, who came out, looked like he was a man on a mission in that first drive. Huge chip on his shoulder. A couple of runs on that first drive. Good passes. I think it was either the first drive or the second drive where he had a really poorly thrown ball. Accuracy wasn't great throughout the day, but it was good enough, and he finally became the leader that he needed to be this year in order to take this team to where they want to go. Obviously, the story of the game was the defense. Finally came out and attacked, played aggressive, manned up on the outside. Revis shut down A.J. Green. Basically, the one play he was out, A.J. Green scored a touchdown, and the one big catch he actually made, Revis stripped it of him, and we got that fumble. So Revis played well. Secondary, for the most part, played pretty well, even with McCourty out, so that's good. Hopefully he's back soon. Dont'a Hightower didn't play. I'm not sure what the injury was, but I think that was somewhat of a blessing in disguise, and I hope we see more of this in the coming weeks. Not the not playing of Dont'a Hightower, but their defensive scheme. They're in 4-3 a lot of the night, which I think they should be in all the time. They came out this year, first 4 games, playing that 3-4 that we all know Belichick loves, but I just don't think they have the players to play the 3-4. Chandler Jones is a 4-3 end rushing the passer. Wilfork, easily. Chris Jones, those are 4-3 interior defensive linemen. The only downside is you have Ninkovich playing as the other 4-3 end, but you saw Michael Buchanan in there a lot playing out of the 4-3 end, and he played pretty well before he got hurt. Again, I think the reason why they played that 4-3 was with Dont'a Hightower out. You obviously have Skinner in at linebacker, and he didn't see the field at all. They were basically in a 4-3 nickel with two linebackers in most of the game between Mayo and Jamie Collins, which I think took Jamie Collins a little bit out of his comfort zone, because he's no longer that specialist who's coming on passing downs, but he's playing almost an every down linebacker as a smaller, athletic running, not smaller, but athletic running linebacker, which he, a couple plays where he didn't do so well on, but I hope they play 4-3 a lot more. I think that's the key to this team, playing well on defense and obviously manning up on the outside. Hopefully Easily comes back. Hopefully Hightower comes back as well, but I hope that they stay in a 4-3. Anyways, that's my Patriots rant. Let's get right into the scoreboard of this past week. Myself versus Bill. I took my second loss in a row. Bill moves on his hot streak, won his 4 in a row. His 4th in a row. This was a bit of a landslide, 109-88. None of my players really showed up. Not that they've showed up all season long anyways. Peyton Manning got me 31. That was about it. Good play in my eyes of me starting Lions defense. Got me 11. Emmanuel Sanders been consistent all year long with double-digit points. Got me 10. But that was it. Obviously, Giovanni Bernard on Sunday night, only scoring 7 points against what looked like a great New England defense. We'll see if they hold it up. Doug Martin, 6 points. Colson and Sproles, 6 and 5 points, so they sucked. And on the other side of things, Bill got good games out of Arian Foster, 28, and Andre Ellington, 26, which kind of surprised me there in that Denver game. That I think got him the win, is that Andre Ellington going from basically what should have been a 6 to 10 point night to a 26-point night. He also left a lot of points on his bench in his tight end position with Antonio Gates, and even Ryan Quick scored 20 points on his bench. So could have been a lot worse for me than it was. A win's a win for him. A loss is a loss for me. I'm now tied for second as he takes sole lead in first. Which reminds me, I just reminded myself something I want to mention about the Pats game too. Offensive line finally looked like they were playing well. hopefully they continue to play like this the rest of the season. We'll have to see about that. But Brian Stork looked extremely well at the center position, and the only time you heard either of the tackles' names was when you heard one of the announcers call out Solder for a great block. So that's always good, is when your left tackle's name is not mentioned throughout the game. All right, next matchup: MC Gusto versus the Skull Brotherhood. Dumas here looking for a second straight win. Div trying to avoid his third straight loss, and Dumas did. Div didn't. Div actually had some high point scorers on his squad. 16 from Gronk, obviously, on that touchdown catch. 24 from Eddie Lacy on the Thursday night game, which you're welcome. 14 from Des Bryant. But Dumas had more balanced scoring. Actually, not really. He just got 20 points from his kicker. I guess kickers really are people too. So Dumas kind of snuck one out there. Only a 2-point victory with leaving a lot of points on his bench. Golden Tate 19, Terrence Williams 13, Justin Forsett 15. I don't know who you would have started them over in anyways. You're going to start Keenan Allen. You're going to start Julian Edelman. You're going to start McCoy and Le'Veon Bell. So not really a tough choice there, keeping them on your bench. It's just good to know that you've got points on your bench in case you need them. Calvin Johnson was a start on Div's team. Did he not play, or did he get hurt halfway through the game? I don't know, but he scored 0 points. Steve Smith only 1 point. Cardinals D -2. So that was it, a 2-point victory for Dumas. He's now tied for second with me in the School Street division. 102-98 was the score. Kane beating New England's Freeze as Brian loses his second, and Kane wins his second game of the season. Big game out of Demaryius Thomas in that Denver game, 34 points. He got 3 touchdowns, I think. Jay Cutler with 21 points and a loss. Julius Thomas, another Denver player, 18 points. The other side of things, Brian was right with him. Again, close one, 4-point loss. Brady with 20. Patriots D with 14. Ben Tate coming back from injury with a 120-yard game. A.J. Green had that 1 touchdown and some receiving yards, so he went off for 12 points against the Pats. But again, when you're looking at the game, we kept him in check. Left 20 points on his bench to Kendall Wright. Now that's tough. That's basically a throw up between him and DeAndre Hopkins, whom he started over Kendall Wright. Hopkins got him 6, Kendall Wright got him 20, so he's probably second guessing himself there a little bit. Kane ended up starting Eric Decker instead of maybe Fred Jackson. I don't know. But Decker got him 0. Jackson got him 11 on his bench. But again, it didn't matter. 4-point victory. So Brian now 5th in the Gore Road division, while Kane tied for 3rd in the Gore Road division. Kilmer's Coyotes beats B Rose to cement himself as first place in the Gore Road division. Low scoring affair here. 71-57, Gabes took this. 19 from Andrew Luck, 15 from the Steelers defense, 11 from the kicker Hashikaka on Monday night there for Seattle. On the other side of things, B-Rose started the Bengals defense, -6 points. Aaron Rodgers 18, Marshawn Lynch 17 on the Monday night game. Wasn't enough. He was down quite a bit. Looks like he must have been down 60 to 40? 60 to 40 before the Monday night game. Hauschka got Gabe's 11. Marshawn Lynch got Kevin's 17 with us to end up in a 71-57 score. So Larry Donnell, the tight end, who's been all over the charts the past week with those 3 touchdown catches, promptly goes up and catches 0 balls for 0 yards. So fantasy football has its ups and downs, I guess. A lot of points left on the bench here for Kevin. 22 from Pierre Thomas, 12 from Steven Jackson. I mean, I definitely would have started either one of those over Reggie Bush. Maybe that's it, because you got Roddy White, Vincent Jackson, Eddie Royal all playing pretty well, relatively well. So you start those guys, they just didn't have great games. So nothing you really do about that. And then the last matchup of the night was a 8-point win for Captain Hook's Cronies, winning his 2nd in a row, trying to climb out of the 0-3 hole he dug himself. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the GOAT looks like the bad GOAT, like the GOAT of the losers, at 1-4 after losing his 4th straight. Russell Wilson obviously went off on Monday night, 34 points for Kyle. Another 100-yard rushing game now, 5th in a row for DeMarco Murray. Looking like a stud. No touchdowns, but still 16 points. 10 for Frank Gore, 12 for his kicker. On the other side of things, Buckley, 20 out of Matt Forte in his second straight game with over 100 combined yards. 19 from Greg Olsen, but that was it. Only 13 from Nick Foles, 1 from Monty Ball, who got hurt, 4 from Brandon Marshall, gross, 9 from Randall Cobb, gross, started the Browns D, gross, 3 points. His bench is just devastated. Mike Evans is hurt, Bishop Sankey, 2 points. He's got Wes Welker on his bench for some unknown reason. Torrey Smith having a down year, 3 points on his bench. Crabtree was never really anything in this league other than a mediocre receiver who sometimes has good games. 1 point. Left the Panthers defense on his bench with 17 points against that game against Chicago, so nothing you really can do there. But I mean, this roster that I'm looking at for Buckley is just, I mean, in all honesty, it looks worse than Kevin Stone after throwing up. I mean, Visine isn't going to fix that, Kevin. Jesus Christ. And Visine is definitely not going to fix this roster, even though it might make it a little more clearer as I'm looking at it. Need some serious overhaul on Buckley's side. You know, Matt Ryan's up for trade. If you're looking for a new quarterback, I could use a receiver, and that actually goes out to everyone. But anyways, Buckley loses this one. Again, it's 4th straight last place in the School Street division. Meanwhile, Captain's Hook's cronies making his way up the charts. It's now standing at 4th place. So that's how we have it here after Week 5. A lot of parity in the league. You know, the teams are pretty well balanced, again, outside of Buckley's terrible team. Anyone can beat anybody on any given week, I feel, this year more than any other year. And I think that the records, for the most part, reflect that. So it should be a tight race as we move along here. Even looking at the points scored totals, you know, there's only a 100-point difference between first and last place, and you know, you average that over 5 weeks. That's only 20 points. That's not that big of a fantasy loss. That's one guy having a really good game. So you know, we'll see what happens down the stretch here. So I guess that's it. That's where I'll leave you. Enjoy the Bruins tomorrow, season opener. Waiver wire opens in approximately, has been open, or does it open at midnight, or does it open at 4 a.m.? Let's take a look. Waiver wire is still not open, so it will open, I think, at like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. this morning. So get your claims in, and we'll see you next week.